Hello everyone! Hello. What was it? I'm not gonna do the Japanese intro. Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Link, the Trained Unprofessional. I noticed something kind of interesting while I was gone. Is that, I saw my Echo save files in there, in the load screen. So that was kind of interesting. I guess this is running on the same metadata as Echo, which is interesting. The clapping of I already said that in the last episode, which is odd, because hanging out with Karl is usually not something I'd consider a tranquil experience. Maybe the better term for it is eerie. I can see the faded masonry of the abandoned school building up ahead at the bend, the grass around it pale and dormant in the November chill. There aren't too many other buildings around beside it, though a few junk cars, cinder blocks, and steel barrels can be seen beside the road. Flynn calls this part of Echo Tetanus Alley. Dude, I usually don't even brave coming around here in the daytime. This is kinda... He gestures about with a limp flail instead of finishing a sentence. This is clearly out of his comfort zone, though I honestly think anything outside Karl's bedroom can be considered as such. You've never walked to Jasmine's house at night? Never without, like, Leo or something? I nod. I get it. If someone comes running at me with a syringe, I'm using you as a meat shield. You smoke meth. You don't usually inject it. If somebody comes running at me with a meth pipe, I'm using you as a meat shield. I let out a half-amused grunt, keeping wary of my surroundings. There is no wind, so the mesquite and sagebrush are static still. Ooh, a different picture of the abandoned school. One that appears to have been taken during the daytime, but whatever. We walk quietly for a bit, but as we reach the schoolhouse, Karl breaches the silence. People around here hate me, dude. I turn to look at him, the ram's face devoid of expression and his gaze distant. Well, Jeremy and Clint are just vocal about it. The rest just hate everybody, I think. No, like, you heard what Karen was saying, right? How she sounded like there was some collective simmering spite under the surface? Well, that's just... Don't say that's just Karen, because I hear it in other places too, dude. You're a spoiled fat rich kid. That's an easy target. My parents sell fucking ice cream. How can you hate the ice cream family? The ram waves his arms about before letting them flop ragdoll-like at his sides. I pause, hesitating on my response for a moment. Then it comes to me. Maybe they're just... intolerant. Fucking hate this guy. I wait a beat. Lactose intolerance. Oh yeah, we kind of got that one. Okay. Karl rolls his head back and lets out a surprisingly loud groan. Blinking, I hold up my finger to my muzzle. Shh, you're being noisy. I see the ram visibly recoil, increasingly self-aware. He sinks back into himself, dripping his paws into his pockets. Karl is really different when he talks to me in comparison to when he's at school around others. He's all quiet and such at lunch, or in between classes, but if it's just us hanging out, he can be kind of spaz. It's because of your ancestors, right? The town founder and whatnot? Yeah. He answers abruptly, looking sidelong. I think my scolding may have upset him. You know, it's a wonder that is such a thing around here. Sodomy and mass murder has a way of sticking around. What? Ow, ow, ow. Oh my shit, my fucking leg. My right leg has been on the verge of having a cramp for like 5 days in a row, and it fucking sucks because around will just be like, and I'm like, no, please, and it'll be like, oh, okay, we'll wait. No, god damn it. Which one's worse, right? I say that a bit more of a forced, playful tone than I intended. Karl looks over at me, then shrugs. Depends on who you ask. I look back at the abandoned school. Something about it just gives me a weird feeling. Karl and I hadn't been inside since 4th grade, now that I think about it. Ooh, that's her house? Oh my god. Jesus, fuck. We arrive outside Jasmine's house, and that's coming from me, okay? I had a pretty fucked up house growing up. That is a shithole. Oh my god. We arrive outside Jasmine's house, the square stucco structure dwarfed by the 3-story school next door. I could hear some scraping noises coming from inside, like wooden dining chairs pushed across tile floor. As I walk toward the door, I see Karl stop out of the corner of my eye. Looking back, he seems frozen in place, his green eyes flicking from the entryway to me. You know they don't like me, dude. Can you handle this? I sigh, deciding it wasn't worth arguing over. He's kind of right, too, I guess. You going home? No, I'm just gonna chill out here. He leans back a bit, teetering on the edge of the road behind a little bit of gravel in front of the house. You look real inconspicuous, man. Thanks. Do you know what inconspicuous means? Well endowed. Jesus. I throw up my hands and make my way to the door, knocking 3 times. Karl, meanwhile, ambles off in the direction of the old schoolhouse, out of sight. The skidding inside stops. Within a couple of seconds, the door flings open outward, so I'm nearly knocked on my ass. I'm instantly greeted by the smell of stale beer and the sound of football with the volume turned up too high. The sight of errant plastic bags and food containers scattered about tangerine shag carpet just completes the mood, really. A stout, fat fennec fox stands before me, his eyes wide. He stares, though not meeting my gaze, as if he's looking right through me. Overall, Jasmine's dad looks like hell. However, he blinks some and refocuses, narrowing his eyes at me and dusting off his shirt. Chase, he rumbles. Yeah, is Jazz home? Inside, I see a head peek around from around the corner, the fur too splotchy to be Jasmine's. Jeremy. Fuck off, Chase! His voice is laden with derisive contempt. Jasmine's dad doesn't even react. It's bizarre how Jeremy never seems to get disciplined. She's in her room. Chores ain't done yet, so he can't go out and, play. He steps out of the way and moves back to the kitchen, where a plate of convenience store nachos and cheese sits. He reaches down to grab a chip, but ends up just sticking his paw into the hot melted cheese. The old fox looks more confused than anything, his brow furrowed. 3 seconds pass before he actually grabs a chip. Meanwhile, Jeremy is hard-eyeing me from over the couch cushion. I realize now that he's only in his underwear, tighty-whities, too. Oh. Ooh, Jesus. With that, I fast-walk my way to the end of the hall. I guess we're going inside. That's not what I gathered from that. Stepping over some nasty-looking stains. I'm guessing Jasmine's mom is in the bathroom, so I give that wide berth as well. As I'm about to turn and knock on Jazz's door, I realize that it's completely open, the door taken off the hinges and resting against the wall nearby. Awkwardly, I knock on the wooden frame and clear my throat. Jazz? Chase. She states my name with a matter-of-fact air to her tone. I take that as my all good to enter and step inside. Her room is rather cramped. Fuck. Getting flashbacks. Her room was rather cramped. It adorned with an old metal frame single bed, a cedar desk, and the house's hot water heater. A stack of books and manga completely fills the space under her bed. It's serving as a sort of makeshift book nook. Her desk is surprisingly neat, and I recognize a biology textbook from school open on top. Everything seems fairly tidy, neat, and organized, but it still seems somewhat cozy. It is girly as all hell, truly, but it feels like a sanctuary in contrast to the rest of the house, even with the constant rumble of the hot water heater. Jasmine has turned away from me, sorting something in her backpack. I see her rub her face. Your, door moved. Not on its own. What do you need? Whoa! Look at young Jenna. Holy criminally. Jesus. I think it's a completely different... It's got to be a different artist. Like, there's no way... Unless it's just a different art style from the same artist, but... Good lord. After a sufficient amount of face rubbing, she turns to face me, a curious yet expectant look in her eyes. She almost looks as if she's sizing me up, but I think that's just the way her face is. You weren't at school today, and I just wanted to check up on you and whatnot. She turns, moving to close her biology book on the desk and sliding into her backpack. Well, that's nice of you. Her tone is abrupt and leaves me feeling sort of awkward and foolish. I guess. Hey, can I borrow your cell phone a second? I hesitate. What for? Don't worry, I'm not going to go through your text messages or browsing history. Just need to message someone. I slowly pull my phone from my pocket, though I'm definitely a little wary of handing it over. That doesn't stop Jasmine from turning hastily and plucking it from my fingertips. Sly fox. She swipes through and I hear the telltale click-clacking of the touch keys. Who you texting? You don't worry about that, and I don't worry about this recently saved images button on here. She narrows her gaze at something, the white light from the device illuminating her features. You can have a seat if you like. I want to know what's going on. Like in general, or regarding you not being at school today and your door being absent. It isn't absent, Chase. It's against the wall outside. I'm starting to actually get angry at this point. If you don't want to talk about it, then just say you don't want to talk about it. Quit trying to make me look stupid for caring. Her blue eyes flick from the screen to me for a brief moment, then back down again. There's nothing to talk about. Nothing out of the ordinary around here, just the average day in Cloud 9. Well, that was on Cloud 9, but okay. I see her mash her thumb in rapid succession against what looks like the delete button, and then she begins to type again. How you doing, though? I feel my raised jowls go loose at the question. She looks up from my phone, resting it face down on her thigh as she awaits my answer. Her shift to concern is a little jarring, though this is what I came for, really, isn't it? As much as I would hate to admit it, her lack of domestic bliss is such a common thing at this point. It's become a bit of a tripe topic. It's horrible here, but everyone knows that, especially Jazz. I guess she doesn't need anyone reminding her of it. I'm fine. She stares at me for a good 4 seconds before speaking. I can tell you're not. I know you have your psychotherapist to help you deal with your hallucinations and sleep paralysis. But you should feel free to talk to her about other problems in your life, especially if you are unwilling to speak to your friends about them. I've found that building up lots of negative emotions like this tends to attract more bad things. You know what I mean. Is it frozen? I stiffen with the startle as I hear a knocking on the window. Glancing over, I see 2 large pairs of horns silhouetted against the lower edge of the window pane. Jazz looks over. Jazz looks to have been clutching her legs tightly, though at seeing what I do, she relaxes as well. Karl wanted to wait outside. I understand. Yeah. I look at the carpet between my feet and slowly raise to a stand. Lou's apparently at some party on Route 65. He didn't tell me about it. Yeah, apparently he kept it a secret from us. We're gonna go check it out. Would you like to come? I see her knead her knuckles against the comforter, her tongue pressed against her 2 front teeth. I wouldn't be able to get away for long, Chase. For now, it's better if I stay put. She reaches down, typing a few more things into my phone before handing it back to me. I see the flash of messenger history deleted upon my screen for a split second before it goes back to the usual background. Looking down at her, I raise my eyebrows silently. Thanks. I hope you get your door back. I will, one way or another. She nods politely and I make my exit. As I'm walking through the hall, I spy Jasmine's father still hunched over his nachos. Jeremy, meanwhile, is still on the couch, which I'm realizing is also his bed. He scowls at me as he catches me looking, the fox making a crude gesture before rolling over towards the television. I think he mutters another fuck off, but I'm not really listening. Damn. I'm honestly surprised Karl accepted going along to this party. His social anxiety is pretty bad at school. Maybe it's just that kind of night. I walk alongside him, still milling over what Jasmine had said. Can't wait till I get my license and car. I mentioned that already, yeah? Yes. Route 65 is like 3 miles away. You can get your fetlocks toned and ready for the dance floor, though. I see Karl's posture stiffen at that prospect, his bright green eyes looking to the asphalt beneath us. You don't actually think there's gonna be dancing, is there? Like the movies and shit? I shrugged, something I'd been doing a lot this night. Growing up in a town with less than 60 people has made what seems like a conventional teenage experience on TV seem utterly forgotten. The closest our group of friends had to such were birthday parties with just us 6 and our folks. Leo's dad let us drink a can of beer once. Ooh. I always imagined high school parties were just a bunch of kids sitting on couches and smoking weed. But this is Echo, so... Meth? Do you think Leo would go to a party where everyone smoked meth? I didn't think Leo would go to a party and not tell us. I paused, dipping my paws into my pockets. Jesus. I wonder if Leo thinks we're not cool. Karl actually turns to look at me, then quickly averts his gaze to the ground. Dude, I think that after all the shit we've been through, that wouldn't matter. The serious statement from him takes me off guard, and I feel instantly guilty for broaching that topic. I nod solemnly, another long pause drifting between us. Yeah. Karl slows to a stop, resting his paws upon his knees, his large back form hunched over. He groans once, his breathing is a bit ragged. I stop as well, moving on over to the ram's side. You alright, dude? Yeah, we've been walking forever. Could use like a bench or something. I'm sure there will be chairs at the party. Yeah, sticky sex ones probably. I smirk. I'm sure you'll get used to the scene in no time. We're gonna show up there and it'll just be Leo alone and in a gimp mask with a warehouse full of rubber dicks. What the fuck? What the fuck, dude? Sounds like a dream I had once. He lets out a sort of raspy laugh, pushing himself back upright again. I give his side a little rough nudge and we begin walking once more. The road here is much better maintained than most of Echo's on account of it being a state route. Still, it doesn't get much usage. I think Flynn told me once that it was part of the early U.S. highway system that was repurposed in the 90s. The interstate freeway about 30 miles to our east gets most of the traffic this road used to. If you want to get to any major city, you take the interstate. There being little reason beyond sightseeing to take the slow highway. I never really understood the appeal of people that do stuff like that. Set the GPS to avoid freeways for the scenic stuff. Everything on these long highway stretches has been mostly shuttered without a gas station for 100 miles. It's just decay, entropy, and I don't get why anyone would want to be reminded of it for fun. I mean, I live in the middle of it, so maybe that's why it doesn't seem so exotic, enticing, or southwestern gothic. Failing local economies and being trapped in the midst of them just has a way of sucking the fun out of things. I'm sucking up the fun. Ugh. Choking on a little bit of fun there. Pardon me. Walking along now, the remnants of the bygone highway era still dot the landscape. To our right, there's an abandoned trailer park, most of it empty besides the crumbling admin building and 1 or 2 remaining trailers. They're all graffitied to high hell, though. It's funny how spray-painted initials crop up on deserted structures seemingly at the same rate rust and dust takes over. Sydney and Flynn convinced me to tag an outhouse when I was 10. The end result didn't look anywhere near as good as the bold yet indecipherable text that dawns the outer wall of the chipped 70s-era RV beside me. I ended up feeling so guilty I told my mom. We went back out to the outhouse after dark with soap and scrub and stuff and managed to get it all off. The next day, Sydney and Flynn were confused as to where my tag went. I told them I didn't know what they were talking about. My mom thought that was funny. At the thought of Mom, I rouse from my brooding, glance sidelong to Karl. He has a dull, vacant look on his face, his mind clearly elsewhere. I feel a cold sweat take me in, a weird lurching in my heart. Christ, can I actually do this? To come out to him in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere? I'm gonna be stuck in this town for at least 3 more years, then I'm free, hopefully. If this goes badly, more badly than it already has, I just have to stick it out until college. Hey, Karl. The words leave my throat like with a forced-sounding utterance, surprising myself. The RAM slowly blinks back into reality. Hope to go humanity, oh, Mom's spaghetti. Then responds, yeah? So something kind of messed up happened this morning. I see the flicker of his eyes shift towards my direction. This have to do with what Karen was going off about? I wasn't gonna ask her nothing. Mike Rider 464, hello, welcome, thank you for the follow, and hello, Stephanie. So he had noticed after all. Sort of, yeah. I see Karl shift awkwardly. He's never the person I go to with the serious stuff. I can tell he's wondering why I'm breaking our mutual unspoken let's keep it light pact. That being said, I definitely have his full attention. Oh, okay. What's up? I see the outline of the Parsons building now, but we're still a pretty damn long ways away. So I like guys. You can't really read his expression change in the dark, but it definitely did. Really? Yeah. Have since I went through puberty. Are you sure? You're pretty down to earth. I mean, sort of an asshole at times, but yeah, plain. I rub my temple, letting out a little grunt. You're making me feel better already. Hopefully not too good, though I doubt you're into boobs anyway. He grabs his pectorals, giving them a squeeze. Well, you got a purty mouth. Cringe instantly at myself. Why the fuck would you say that? Fortunately, I see the glint of Karl's teeth and know that he's grinning. So Flynn's advice was actually relevant after all. Does he, know? No, you're the first person I've told. Whoa, dude. That's pretty heavy. I try to think up something to say, trying to be nonchalant as possible. I guess I'm trying to show Karl that I'm not really any different. You're pretty heavy, so I thought you could handle it. He looks down at his gut, then back up again. Karl isn't really grotesquely overweight. His whole body is pretty proportionately large. Maybe not in height yet, but there's still a few years. Who knows, maybe he'll turn out huge like Leo. What does your mom and pop think about it? They didn't know until this morning. They caught me watching gay porn. Fuck, dude. I hear him exhale through his large nostrils. I make my parents knock. There's a mutual agreement that it isn't good for either of us if they walk in on a jerk session. Though they're never usually home anyway. Yeah, that's nice. You see the ram's form rise and slump again. A shrug. I don't think my parents took it well, so this whole outing is keeping my mind off things. I'm sorry, dude. Really? Yeah? Kinda cringe secondhand thinking about it, actually. He sucked on the chicken and then set it on fire! A single car passes us by. The first one we've seen all night. We stop talking as it passes. I can feel the eyes of the driver upon us. We're definitely an odd sight, an otter and a ram in the middle of nowhere in the middle of the night. So yeah, does this mean I get to say the F word whenever I want, or on account of my best friend being gay and stuff? I mean, as long as you don't turn into Flynn with it, then yeah. Sure. This is the best news I've heard all day. I can finally talk smack back properly to the 12-year-olds online. I snicker a little and the silence falls between us. Not exactly sure what to say to them after all that. Karl seems a little less jokey too, his horns tilted down. So I know that he's staring at the road as he walks. It's fucking weird that I could move this here I could be like, whoa, I'm in the video game. Look at me being in the video game. Oh, am I in the video game now? I'm just a sprite. There you go. I'm fucking... I have to have a Leo pose. Be like... I'm gonna move this back down. Get that the fuck out of here. Is penis an instrument? It is getting noticeably chillier outside. The desert soil doesn't do a great job of retaining heat already, but it is much worse in the late fall and winter months. Across my arms tied across my chest, envying those with thicker fur and pants instead of shorts. Peering ahead, I could see that our destination is still like a mile away. To my surprise, Karl breaks the silence, clearing his throat first. You know, watch him from his side, not about to interrupt, even if I can't make the right words form right away. Sometimes when I'm, like, feeling bad, I sort of have this, like this pretend. I see him look over at me, then he smiles, shaking his head rapidly. Nah. What? Go on. I can't say this lame old shit. This ain't lame as shit. I just told you I'm gay and got caught watching gay porn. What's lamer than that? That's not even lame. That's just shit luck and way too good headphones. They were the in-earbud kind. Dangerous choice there, dude. Come on. Meh. He grunts indignantly. He takes in a deep breath, clutching his paws together inside the front pocket of his hoodie. Fuck it, I have this imaginary GF in my head and she chills me out. Wow. Oh, wow, me. I have a good imagination or something and it works out. Is she hot? Yeah, completely. Short spiked blonde head fur, dark gray eyes, real athletic body, double D breast, 2 foot long dick. She's amazing. What was that last one? She's amazing. You have one? I glance over and I see Karl looking at me expectantly. Are we just putting all our embarrassing shames out in the open here tonight? I did. I think for now, let's just do what normal grown-ups do and suppress the rest. Oh, come on. God damn it. We saw this in Echo. Young Chase is a bit of a insensitive prick. I see Karl sort of smile awkwardly, then rather quickly look away. If you say so. I'm honestly astonished how quickly the tables turned in this confiding. Even in the dark, I can tell he's trying to act all nonchalant and uncaring, but he's visibly tense as hell. That imaginary girlfriend thing must mean a lot to him. He's playing it off with humor, but I've known him long enough to see through that. Hey, I see him flinch, looking over his shoulder towards me. What's up? You're not weird. He doesn't respond beyond faking an amused grunt. I take it deep, preparing a further delving into the deep real talk that this conversation was about to become. I was feeling lonely 2 months ago and posted a personal male-for-male ad on the Peyton List website. 18-year-old otter here looking for a friend/mentor, or something was the tagline. Included a cropped and photoshopped picture of myself at the Peyton Rec Center pool, my face blurred. It was that time we went after we saw the Superwolf movie in the 3D theater place with you, Jazz and Leo. Since I went through puberty a couple of years ago, I was pretty sure I could pass for 18 and my face was hidden. I was wrong. My post was taken down and I got a few emails from administrators asking all sorts of questions. I take a deep breath, extra deep breath, no dick here, no siree, no, not here. Including some kind of vague, threatening stuff. It just really hasn't been my best past few months. See Karl bounce his knuckles together, taking all that information in. That's weird. Trying to find some mysterious fantasy stranger on the internet who will make everything right when I'm not even remotely old enough. Because I'm too much of a pussy to risk being seen as anything other than what I've always been seen as. I let out a puff of air, fidgeting some and feeling my heart thud heavy within my chest. That's scary as hell, dude. Another long silence. Her name is Donica. She's an otter. Has glasses and kind of crooked teeth so she doesn't open her mouth when she smiles. She's really into video games, illustration, and, like, clothes, I guess. When I'm doing my drawing, she inspires me, sure, sort of. Danica is, like, what's the word for it, my muse. I'm nowhere even good enough to justify even having one. But she makes me want to do and make stuff, as opposed to, nothing. Well, sorry if I'm offending her if she's, well, present, but it's probably healthier if you had a real girlfriend, but for now, yeah, I understand. Ram smiles sheepishly, the lights from the illuminated Parsons building close enough now that I can see he's biting his cheek. Thanks, dude. No problem, man. Oh, here we go. Oh, there's some shit. Eventually we reached the Parsons building, an establishment that closed many of my lifetimes ago from the looks of it. It does look kind of shitty. But I want to get a closer look at it before we judge too much. But we won't be doing that, of course, until the next episode. Thank you all very much for watching this episode of Echo Route 65. On the next one, we will be exploring more of what's going on in this party town. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I have been the trained up professional, speaking for the voices I have in my head when I say, fare thee well. Bye, everyone!